guys, so you can tell that I'm sick. Oh my god. My voice probably sounds horrible. I actually chose to turn the volume off on the TV, so that way you guys could hear me a little bit better. Here, guy. I thought I was over this cold, but I guess I'm not. So anyways, we're going to be doing a makeup and mystery, and we're going to be covering Jaycee Dugard. So Jaycee Dugard was actually held captive for 18 years, which is crazy. So in those 18 years, her family actually remained very present in the search, and I don't think that they ever actually thought that they wouldn't find her. Like, they fully believed they would find her one day, for sure. What's crazy is the person that actually took Jaycee was actually a convicted sex offender, and he was never under, like, any suspicion, which is so weird. Philip Garrido and his wife Nancy Garrido are actually in prison right now, and they're going to be in prison for the rest of their lives because his wife Nancy actually would help him find women, and she gave Jaycee as a gift to him, which is so weird. So Jaycee actually had her first child at the age of 14. She gave birth to her first child at the age of 14, and had another child a few years later. What I find odd is that Philip was on probation. He had a parole officer, and the parole officer actually came to their house and searched their house a few times and didn't find Jaycee or her daughters. And when you go through Jaycee's story, there's actually many times Jaycee talks about how she could have escaped, but she didn't because she was just so mind controlled by these people. And it seemed like other people had sinking suspicions about, like, because there's also reports stating that neighbors called the cops and said that they were kids living in the Garradio's backyards, and nobody investigated it. That's what's so weird. So how Jaycee Lee Dugard was found was actually pretty interesting. It's pretty intriguing. So they were police officers that saw Philip spouting, like, nonsense, and then they saw the two girls, and their women intuition just kind of told them something was off, so they asked for Philip's name, run Philip's name, and find out he's a convicted sex offender, and bring them all in. So at this point, Jaycee had been missing for 18 years. She went missing when she was 11 years old. And at this time, Philip and Nancy had Jaycee going by a different name, and that name was Alyssa. And when the police officers would ask Jaycee what her name is, she would say Alyssa. So finally, Jaycee breaks down in the police station and says, "I'll tell you my real name," because the police officers don't think that her name is Alyssa, even though she's repeatedly saying her name is Alyssa. And they think after running Philip's history, they think that she's a kidnapped woman. She said, "I'll tell you my real name, but I'm too afraid to say it out loud, so can I have a piece of paper to write it down?" So they gave her a piece of paper, and she wrote down Jaycee Lee Dugard. Of course, again, Jaycee had been missing for 18 years at this point, and her family had a serious presence in the community with her kidnapping because they never let anybody forget it. So the police are freaking out, and they get Jaycee's mom and her family down there because Jaycee and her mom were really close before Jaycee was kidnapped. And they have their family reunion with the daughter that they had not seen in 18 years. Jaycee was rewarded $20 million by the state of California for the parole officers not finding her when they searched the house, because they did. And Jaycee actually was in the house because once Philip and his wife realized that Jaycee wasn't going to run, they let her have more privileges. So Jaycee still does activist work and stuff like that and talks about her kidnapping, and she's raising her two daughters. What I found amazing is when it was Philip and Nancy's sentencing, you have victim impact statement. Jaycee wasn't there for the sentencing. However, she gave her mom a piece of paper to actually read her statement. It's a very powerful statement in which Jaycee explains why she didn't come to this hearing, because she decided that she didn't want to give her any more of her life to these people. Like I said, very powerful of a statement for her, and she had a journal. They gave her a journal. She actually had literally written down every day for like 18 years her thoughts and feelings. I seriously could not imagine going through what she went through. Thank goodness her captors are captured, because I think that they would do this again. Before they had Jaycee, Philip would go to the park and play his guitar, and Nancy would be there with the camera filming it, and instead of filming Philip, they would be zooming in on other kids in the park, I think potentially to find more victims. And the police do have these videos, so that's how we know that it's true, because they found him in the search of the house. Which, how did the parole officer not find this stuff? I mean, seriously, like, how did they not find these girls? It's so crazy. This is such a crazy story. And I feel like Jaycee could have been found a lot sooner. Had different things happened and people made different decisions, I think she could have been found sooner. Oftentimes you have a story like this where you don't have the happy ending. But luckily, Jaycee's family, the Dugard family, got a happy ending. This is just one of those cases of just this girl being amazing. And people say that she had Stockholm Syndrome, and that's why she didn't escape. And this actually offends Jaycee very often. She says she didn't have Stockholm Syndrome. She was just so controlled. So mentally controlled. Which, really, you have to put yourself into her shoes and understand that probably is true. She probably was just so controlled and so afraid of leaving. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully my next video I won't have a cold and you'll be able to understand me a little bit better. But yeah, I'm going to end this video here. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye, guys.